did it again, guys. It's unfreaking believable. Whatever. We're gonna roll with it. Unbelievable. Okay, let me set this up. First off, good morning, Mega GMs. Day 2 of Rectober, right? Can we call it that now? I think we'll call it. Yeah, it's fitting. It's Rectober. Guys, Coder Dan, dude, I'm so excited for this. Coder freaking Dan.
By the way, that music slapped. I like that. That was nice.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Okay, so yesterday and today, I don't know what's going on. I changed something with my stream or my intro. When I kick it off, I always throw up the cool little graphic and I separately play the song. And like something stuck. It keeps playing like a whole other audio file along with it. And I have no idea how. I thought yesterday I had it figured, but it just did it again today, and it's ridiculous. And it actually sums up the show perfectly. Like I told you, it's casual and anything goes. And look, like train wrecks are welcome. I actually almost encourage them, so it's perfect. It fits perfectly. So
it's kind of it's got two very distinct vibes at the same time. It's which is kind of like crypto. It's a little bit schizo. It's fun.
Dude, we try to inform people. We'll keep it professional, but like, come on, let's have a good time. Let's be serious, like with how unserious we are sometimes. So, so that's kind of it. Good morning, Dead. Good morning, Cosmos, Awful Eye, Mike, Gaming with Twan. Good to see you guys. Okay, so yeah, let me properly set it up then. Joined today by Coder Dan, the founder of Play on Geist. I can't wait to hear about that. Ghost, Aavegotchi, CEO of Pixel Craft. Is that Studios?
Yeah, Stud Studios.
Dig it.
Yep.
I dig it. All right. We're going to be talking about Aavegotchi, that whole ecosystem, which I'm in love with, have been in there for years at this point. I think thanks to Dead, who's watching here. And truthfully,
nice. Yeah, I know Dead Polaroid.
He's great, dude. He's one of my earliest friends here in the space. But we always start out the show with hitting the news, the macro markets, crypto and NFTs. We get to the top headlines. Guys, I always wanted to co-host. And I always wanted to co-host, like maybe it rotates, maybe that's like an insider gives their perspective. We get to experiment today because Coder Dan, can I call you Dan or Coder Dan?
Coder Dan, all is fair game. All Whatever works.
I like Coder
Dan's
Dan.
good. Or Coder Dan's fine.
I'll do Coder Dan. I dig it. But Coder Dan said he's down to do the news with me again. Could be a train wreck. If so, it's my fault. But we're gonna give it a shot. We'll talk the market. We'll get to what's happening here in the space. Guys, make sure you're subscribed here to SlamX Official on YouTube. It's SlamXIO over on X, streaming in both locations. So wherever you're watching, smash the like, drop some comments, share it with your friends. Man, let's get into it. We got to start with Rectober. I want you guys to look at the price of Bitcoin right now. Like, just stare at it. And get in your feels for a minute if you need to. Because here we are, 61K, down not even 5%. Dan, you feel the vibe out there. It feels like the world's crumbling. The Uptober narrative is gone, right? Is that the vibe out there? I'm seeing it at least.
We hit 65K and, everyone was on the moon. Now 65K feels kind of like resistance.
Yeah, we can't really seem to crack it. Did we touch 66 maybe a few days ago?
We did.
Or no, not
we
even.
did. We got to 66. We were like, we're breaking through, and now, boom, just bumped on the ceiling again. But we'll see, where it goes from here. If we go down, I'm not a TA expert by any means, but if we're going under 60, we'll retest like 58 probably. Would be my guess.
So about TA, I'm not either. I have at points. Dabbled. I think it's super fun. Guys who chart and really get into TA, I think it's super cool, and it is a skill. And I mostly wrote it off because I don't know. I think if you're plugged in enough, you already know. It's kind of vibes, feels experience, and doing TA and charts. I don't know.
All I know is it's triangles, man. Everything is triangles. Dude, I used to do TA, but back before my NFT days. But I would just look for triangles and place bets on above or below the triangle, wherever it's going to break out, and like have a little stop loss, and it would work out well when you could get the platform to respect the stop loss, because they didn't always, and then you'd really get wrecked. That's how you get wrecked very easily.
Dangerous game, and there's guys who play it at such a different level. It really is, and so right now, I don't know. I mean, I think we're all assuming it's war in the Middle East. It's the political season. It's all these factors that are either holding us back or maybe soon going to propel us to new heights. And again, I know we're all hoping for it. Here's a look at the wider market here. And how much we've fallen in the past 24 hours, we'll say. ETH down 6.4%. In the 2,400 range, Solana at 145, down almost 7%. But this is actually, I'm glad you brought it up, TA. Again, I think I'm attributing everything going on here to what's going on in the Mideast. Reality is, it's a whole different game going on out there. There is a whole different type of trader. These are the whales. These are the institutions who are playing PvP against each other, against you, against all of us guys. Marty Party. Love this guy, by the way. But pointing out that really what happened yesterday, nothing to do with the wars, nothing to do with anything except that PvP game and people who went long on Bitcoin at these yellow levels. It's kind of like a heat map, getting completely wiped out. And the price of Bitcoin bouncing right after they were liquidated. I don't see this stuff often enough, but it's a good reminder that no matter how good we are at playing and trading, and there's just more going on here. And again, world events, absolutely a factor, but how much when you see something like this? Is this stuff when you did TA you used to see?
Yeah, I never looked at the heat maps really, but I did look at depth and order books and like funding rates on like BitMEX back in the day. But no, I never got this far.
It's it's like taking that skill to the next level. I don't have it. That's why I'm glad there's guys like Marty Party out there that show it. It's interesting at the very least, but also it paints a full picture of what's really happening out there. More of that to come. I cannot wait. I'm with you guys. I can't wait for those new all-time highs. I think soon. I think this year.
Well, it's like October was it's kind of a meme at this point. And people, whenever you have an event like that, it's kind of sell the news. So could be we're entering October, got a little pullback, and there's way more upside. If things cool off on the war side. The election's also like a big catalyst right now to think about and which side that's going to go. So I'm still bullish for October. By the data, the reason we call it October is because like statistically, this is the best performing month in crypto. So I'm comfy with my statistics.
Yeah, I think up like 20-something% last year. The prior year was that FTX? It's like one out of the past 5 or 6 years actually wasn't great for Bitcoin. Otherwise, it's almost consistently every October. But worth noting, we don't ever start out October with a bang. I should say almost never. Usually, it's exactly like this, and it's 2 weeks in. I know for NFTs, it was about 3-4 weeks in. And last year, I wasn't expecting October in NFTs, but we still got it. So, a lot to be optimistic about. You mentioning the election too. It's such a huge factor here, too. Earlier in the year, I said this is going to be the most volatile period for crypto ever because of the election, because of who's talking about it and the stage it's being talked on. That continues. The election is what, 32, 33 days away? It's really
something
close.
Like that, yeah.
Are you based here in the States, by the way?
I am not. I'm from the U.S., but I'm actually based in mainland China a lot of the time. So.
Okay.
Woke up this morning and saw a little bit of the debate happening and tuned in for a bit just to see how it was going.
I caught a few minutes. I probably like 10 minutes of it. But like hearing people's thoughts, excuse me, after the fact, I think people just appreciated that it was civil. It wasn't a total shit show like every year now. They're insane. It's like watching TMZ or something.
It was very. I think someone called it dull. I was like, debates kind of should be dull. They shouldn't be. It's not. You're not watching like a drama show. It should be civil, and it was for the most part, for sure.
Yeah. I may. I'm looking forward to seeing clips of it. Also, I'm at the point where I don't care. I truthfully do just want bags to go up, so we'll see. But election's so close, that volatility will continue, and it works both ways, guys. It's wild swings down like we're seeing. It's those tremendous days of gains, too. It's all happening. It's all going to be maybe condensed to the next 30 days or so. We will see, but it will be exciting here. Looking at the ETFs yesterday, especially with the price action of Bitcoin particularly, was curious what the ETFs look like. No surprise, 242 million in outflows. This is the Bitcoin ETFs yesterday. On the ETH side, 48.6 million in outflows. So both of them seeing a pretty large volume of outflows. How quickly does that turn around? How quickly does the market correct or at least stabilize? We shall see. But big news that Bitwise filed for a Ripple ETF. This is interesting. I think a lot of us were wondering what comes next. Is it a Solana ETF or is it Ripple? Solana, I think, has already been delayed. I don't think we're getting a Sol ETF anytime soon. Definitely not this year. And maybe Ripple here, not this year either. But Solana sounds like it's got a much more challenging road ahead. And Ripple's gone through, man, they've been put to the test for years. Yeah. They may have the clearest path here to an ETF. So fingers crossed there. Nate Geraci. I think I said it right finally. Nate Geraci. There we go. Geraci. Calling it noteworthy. When the man says anything about ETFs, I listen. He is the ETF guy. Nate will be on the show tomorrow, so we'll be getting into this with Nate. I want to get his thoughts on. I'm going to actually get a little degen with him. I want to hear, a TradFi guy, what he thinks of crypto and NFTs and honestly gaming, all of it. But certainly want to hear the significance of this, the Ripple ETF, and how it's looked from his perspective, adoption that is. So looking forward to that here.
And ask him about what he thinks of the ETH ETF too, because that hasn't really translated into like any sort of gains for ETH over the last. When did it come out? Like a couple months ago, right?
Right. Yeah. What does Lemon always call it? Lemon always refers to whatever's not performing as the laggard, and that's been ETH, right? It's for me surprising, not being as technical. But I don't know. Maybe other people did expect it, but. Dude, definitely underperforming. It feels like, at least. Do you do meme coins?
I dabble a bit. I'm not really on Solana too much, but I didn't hear about Mudang honestly until I'm surprised because I believe it's an Asian coin, isn't it? And I'm in here in Asia, so I'm kind of sad that I didn't pick up some Mudang before its run. Isn't it like I forget what country is it from? It's like it seems like it was like I remember someone talking about it being like Thailand or Philippines or something, but I don't quite know.
Thailand sounds right. Any of you guys know? Anybody know what country where that zoo is located? It's really funny. I think it's Easy from the Solana morning show. I think he was out at the zoo maybe yesterday over the past few days, and he visited the little hippo. She's so cute. Yeah, it is Thailand. Thank you. She's so cute. But it's like, dude. Even, not in crypto, everybody knows her. My girls know her. They keep showing me. They keep bringing their phones and showing me on TikTok. There's the little sweet Mudang. Held up. I mention it because I don't make calls. That's too dangerous. It's too scary. I'm probably not good at it. But I do. If I do call something, it means I'm in it, first of all. And just because I feel that it stands out. And Mudang is one of those. We talked about it here at 4 mil. And looking, actually, all things considered, considering how the market went, looking pretty solid. Actually, has been up in the past 24 hours, depending on where we're starting here, but solid. So, conviction for Mudang still there. Just wanted to show the chart though, because I know a lot of people here are in that token. Looking. I think still spicy here.
Oh yeah,
base DeFi, dude. Base DeFi. It's a matter of time, dude.
This is what I'm excited about. This one because this ties into Aavegotchi in a way, just because the whole L3 narrative has been kind of quiet over the last couple months here. Really, since Degen did their launch, there's been a couple others. There's like Zai, Senko, a couple others, but Degen was one of the big ones. So this is big for the L3 narrative, I think. Degen having a listing and mooning kind of overnight with that listing is good for the whole app chain thesis that we're kind of also betting our kind of future of a project on. So really happy to see that. Wow. Look at that.
That's bonkers. I didn't realize it did that much. I think I saw like a I think I read that it was a 130% gain. I think it's that it got to $130 million market cap. That makes way more sense. That's bonkers.
I think maybe. The FDV is definitely higher. Yeah, total market cap is almost.
Oh wow.
If you look at FDV, which I don't really usually. But that market cap is. It was trailing down quite a while because they've raised a ton of money for the whole like Farcast or Warpcast ecosystem, which Degen is a big part of. So there's definitely something cooking over there. That L3, I haven't looked at their stats recently. But I always like to use rollups.wtf to just look at the stats. but I'm sure there's a lot of activity over there recently.
Does that show like daily active users, volume, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's more about like the how much gas it's using, which kind of correlates to that. So like usually proof of play is like almost always at the top, proof of play and base, because there's so much activity on base, and then proof of play is just like using, they're putting everything on chain. So there's like a ton of activity on that. But let's see, where's Degen? Degen's still at the kind of the bottom. So the price has not correlated to more on-chain activity, it seems.
What's the site you mentioned, by the way? Where are you looking?
It's rollup.wtf. Really cool site. It's made by the guys at Conduit, they're one of the main like ROS providers.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this. Okay. Okay. Any specific way you sort this?
Right now, I think it's sorted by I don't know, maybe MGAS or it looks like MGAS. Yeah, this is SICK Alpha, but you can basically see which rollups are the most active compared to Ethereum. So Ethereum's like what everyone's comparing to, and then you got OP, you got Arbitrum, Proof of Play have both of their chains up there, things like Tyco, and then at the bottom are kind of like the ones that don't have a lot of on-chain activity at the moment, but they are rollups.
Oh, this is bonkers. All right, I bookmarked this. This will be my daily stop now. Dude, there's so many cool tools out there that I know most people have not heard of. And man, it's good. It's why it's great that people, I mean, do what we're doing, what we're all doing together, audience too. It's we share info. And it's kind of the only way. This is incredible. Anything really stand out here for you?
Well, I was just gonna say the other one is L2Beat. That's like a little bit more known. People probably go to L2Beat quite a bit but this is like, it's nice because it updates so quickly that you can just see everything.
Is that like L2Beat.com?
Yeah. This will give you. I'm not sure if Geist is not on here yet, but it will be soon because we'll have our testnet launch that we'll be talking about here in a sec.
Okay. All right. Great.
But yeah, this is cool for looking at like TVL. I don't think rollup really. They're not concerned with that on the rollup site. They're more concerned about how much throughput are they actually doing in terms of like TPS, because the whole thesis is that rollups are going to scale Ethereum. So they're looking at all the different TPS, how much stuff is actually being written on chain all the time.
Yeah. Dude. Well, mentioning the scaling of Ethereum, I'm going to come back to that because you've probably got really, really awesome perspective on ETH and why people are concerned about that and maybe if they should be. So mental note for that. And then I'm bookmarking these two sites because we are coming back to these when we get to, man, everything in your ecosystem, because there is a lot of DeFi. There is, you are on, are you on multiple blockchains right now?
Not really. We're mainly on Polygon. We do have Ghost token. It's on Base. It's on Polygon, Ethereum. Soon to be on Geist when we launch. But we have NFTs are tricky things to do full, cross-chain strategy with. If you're trying to go cross-chain, NFTs are a tricky one. But I don't want to stop the news. If there's any more news before we get into that,
yeah, let's blitz through because I want to get to Aavegotchi like ASAP now. I think all this stuff kind of puts that pretty relevant. Okay, yeah, let's get to it. Let me hit the NFT market here. Cross-chain sales yesterday, guys, 10.8 million. Unique sellers down, unique buyers up. Total transactions up as well. On trade profits, still hanging around 500,000 in the negative. We're always watching that here. We're watching to see when traders are winning on trades, but when they do, it just encourages more people to get in.
That's a cool metric, yeah.
Oh, dude, it is awesome. And it really is a great measure of, I'm always wondering if we're back, when we're back, how do we measure being back? Profits isn't like the metric. It is not the way to measure if we're back, but it certainly gets us in gear. Again, if people are winning, they're going to keep playing, is what I always say, and just kind of makes sense here. Collection rankings. Look, these Polygon collections, I think these are money laundering / wash trading for the most part. I'm going to dive into these later on after, and if they are, we'll pull them off. I believe SMB is the top collection then in the past 24 hours. Dozuki, Guild of Guardian Heroes, Punks Pudgy Penguins, Bitcoin Puppets. There's a $200,000 sale on Known Origin, and I don't know what it is. I don't think it's an X copy, just having checked the X copy bot, but art season is getting very close. Very, very close.
All right, Art Basil's coming soon.
Oh, December, or when is that?
I think it's November. We're going to have a little presence there. We like to, Art Basel is one of our big events that we do every year. So kind of is synonymous with crypto art in a way. There's a lot of artists that go to that.
Yeah, very, very much. Is that Miami?
Yeah.
Okay. Always wanted to go. One of these years I need to get to that. That's out of everything in the space. Yes, I'm a gamer and collect all that, but it's art. Art is maybe the thing I've learned the most about, and just it's a blast.
Yeah, you should definitely hit up art. Okay, apparently it's the first weekend of December. Yeah. Okay. Definitely, if you get a chance, go down there. Where are you based?
Right around Chicago.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's a hike, but need to get there at some point.
Yeah.
All right, 200,000. Again, I don't know what this sale is. I wish I did, because it deserves a big old shout out here. It ain't small. The Beeple piece does stand out to me though. A Politics is Bullshit, selling for, what did this sell for? 50 ETH, $123,000. It is Beeple season, that's for sure. X copy season, yes, it has been X copy season for months now, but Beeple back in the news, front and center. Earlier this week, just a few days ago, showing off his new piece called The Tree of Knowledge. I can't wait to hear what this sold for still. My prediction was $7 million. I don't know if you've seen this and if you got a prediction for how much.
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen this? Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
It's wild. So it's like a human one. It's like a physical display.
Okay.
And then just bonkers.
Ooh, wow. Wait, it's a physical thing?
Yes.
Or wow.
Yeah, and it's got a knob on it where you dial in how much noise you want, like interference, like this, like just information overload, and so it makes it really, really interactive here. Super, super, super cool. So this was purchased in a private deal. Money's going to 2 charities, but the amount it was sold for is not public yet. So Human One sold in 2021 for $29 million. I didn't know that when I made the prediction, so I still feel good about that $7 million prediction, but also because it goes to charity, wouldn't be shocked if it were higher.
Yeah. It's a good write-off.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But dude, incredible. This is gonna be featured at a museum. This is Beeple's first ever solo showing here. I don't know how to pronounce
this. He's in Nanjing. Well, maybe I'm not near Nanjing, but it's pretty sweet that he's actually coming to China. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because I wouldn't know where the first showing would be, but it's I would have assumed in the States or some. I was actually guessing would it be at Rafiq Anadol's new museum or something, but no, it's not in China next month. So that's a big old deal. This guy's just this worldwide phenomenon. It's incredible. So GG's to Beeple. All right, the rest of the stories I can literally blitz through. They're just kind of bullet points. That doesn't mean they're not significant here, but we are thick in Dookie Dash season. Anybody playing Dookie Dash, hope you're doing well. Hope you're killing it on the leaderboard. Everybody competing for $1 million prize. They've integrated all kinds of other Web3 IP, mostly theirs, but Heavy Metal are in there. Heavy Metal aren't theirs anymore. Moonbirds, which is Yuga Labs. They did a partnership with Adidas, but the news here was Moonbirds was the latest integration there. So I don't know if you play as a Moonbird character or what, but just great, such a popular game showing off more and more of really the best of this space IP-wise. So great to see that. Be on the lookout for new abstract news. I think this will be really exciting. No idea what it is, but it takes a lot to get us excited these days, because we've kind of at this point, we've seen a lot. We've seen, as far as up to now, NFTs can do what? Drop more PFPs, do this, or nothing has really changed the game. I think that might change here with these guys. I actually know what you guys are doing is part of that conversation to change in the game. So again, we'll get into that stuff too. But yeah, guys, be on the lookout for abstract. I think there's something pretty spicy going on there. This is probably my favorite news in the past 24 hours, I think. Fantasy Top. I think it's called just Fantasy, but man, always liked the game. Always thought they actually have product market fit. It's a game people like to play. The rewards are enough that keeps people coming back. Now you don't just bet or make a lineup of your favorite influencers. You take politicians. This is literally build a lineup of Donald Trump and I don't know, whoever your favorite politician actually could be your mortal enemy, but whoever you think is going to perform well on X, set your lineup, compete for prizes. I think $44,000 in prizes for this upcoming tournament. These guys are smart. They're smart. I'm watching what they're doing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something here with, I mean, geez, gamify everything. It's that simple. So they continue to deliver, I think, really innovative products here. New season of the memes coming from Punk6529. That is actually today. I don't know if it's the sales today or a full reveal. I'm not sure what. So if you're interested in that, definitely make sure you're following Punk here. Cool looking too, really cool looking. And then we do have an X copy drop coming soon. No details yet. It's just Q4. But there's a little alpha for you in case you didn't see it, directly on the site. You haven't seen those tweets yet. There is a new X copy drop at some point this year. It looks like an edition of, well, we don't know. Okay, an edition piece. Hell, maybe it could be a 1-1. I don't know. But again, X copy season. Probably don't want to miss that. Couple big spaces today. Darn it, they're at the same time, so I don't know which I want to attend. I want to attend both. But Taproot Wizards spaces. I feel like they're wizard ordinals. I feel like they're coming soon. There's just been so many teases. Hell, maybe they never come. I don't know. But I'm tuning in because of that maybe opportunity there. At the same time, ENS spaces with PayPal and Venmo. Huge.
Whoa.
Huge. They recently all integrated together. PayPal and Venmo integrated ENS. So I absolutely want to hear from them. The who, what, why, everything else you're supposed to say there. That's a big deal. So really, really cool. Brother, let's do some Aavegotchi talk.
All right, man.
Oh man, I'm excited. Okay. I'll just say this. Aavegotchi, I think, is maybe the most perfect Web3 game experience. I don't want to leave it at just game because it's so much more. But when I think of Web3, I think crypto, I think NFTs, I think DAO. DAO to me was always a special part of this space and like the potential for it. I think DeFi and Aavegotchi is all of that and more rolled up into one. If you were to describe Aavegotchi as simply as possible, because we'll get into individual components, but what is Aavegotchi?
Yeah, the way you describe it there, it reminds me of that. There's that concept in like Japanese culture. I forget what it's called, like ikugami or something. Like all the things that you want to put together and like you find your happy space in the middle. And like that, for me, like that's what Aavegotchi is, like you said, we have a DAO. We've done everything the right way. We did a DAO based ICO back in the day, which launched Ghost Token. We have NFTs. We did bridging. Like we've moved around a little bit, found a spot that's cozy. We're going to keep moving. Now we're launching our own chain and we have like a bunch of games to go with the chain. So like we've covered a lot of territory in the crypto space. And I guess if I were to describe like an Aavegotchi, it's just it's part of it is just like it's crypto culture embodied in this like little ghost, which I'm not sure, probably a lot of people don't know the reason it's a ghost and like why we even called it, Aavegotchi.
I have no idea too, and I've been in for years. This is awesome,
right? So I mean, the Aave part obviously comes. It is a digital piggy bank. You can put tokens inside of it. That's kind of where the Aave part comes. Those tokens are specifically from the Aave lending protocol, and they gain interest when you put them in there. So you can put some A-Link or some AMUSDT or whatever. Put it inside the Aavegotchi, come back in a few years, and it will be worth more. So that's kind of cool. The original like reason it's a ghost, though, obviously, Aave means ghost in Finnish, but there's this like really interesting dynamic in crypto of just the degen activity and people getting liquidated. Like, you go too hard on 100x leverage on Binance or something, or Aave, your health factor drops too low and you get liquidated by these like smart contract, these robots. So the idea is that the Aavegotchi is like the spirit of a liquidated degen on the blockchain. And now it's come back and it's kind of bored on the blockchain. It's like when you get liquidated, it's like in such a manner, you come back and you're just like, now you're like, well, what do I do? What do I do with my life? So Aavegotchis are on the blockchain. They're these like on-chain spirits. And we think that what they want to do, they want to play games. Like they're kind of bored and chilling. They want to make friends. They want to meet other degens and they want to play games together. So that's why we've kind of really leaned into the gaming side and giving the Aavegotchis something fun to do in their eternity that they're going to be on the blockchain for.
Dude, that's a really cute story. I had no idea. It's just like, man, just like that much more personality into it makes it that much more endearing. You know, I like it a lot. Maybe we start with the games, because that's what brought me to Aavegotchi to start, and then I started learning all the depth of it. And man, it's incredibly deep. In a way that's really cool because it helped me learn. So, but yeah, let's get to the gaming part to start. By the way, I fired it up yesterday, and just hearing the sounds made me smile because it just has these very distinct sounds. It got me, dude, got me thinking a couple years ago. When I played before, it was like, is it the Gotchiverse? Is that the core or the initial game there?
So there's like a meta game layer. People always talk about Aavegotchi, and they're like, oh, the game. And that's kind of, we need to start dispelling that notion a little bit, that there's like a game, because this is the Gotchiverse 2D that you're showing on the screen here. Before this, there's actually another game per se, which was called Rarity Farming. And it's like a competition. It's like a meta game. It's basically who can pet their gotchis the most, who can like be the most consistent petter, who can have the best wearables on their Aavegotchis, and who can have the most experience earned by their Aavegotchi. So you can like earn experience by voting in the DAO, or coming to our hangouts, or like participating in different events. So those on-chain traits of the gotchi are like the original game before we even had any other games that we're working on now. So this one here, the Gotchiverse, is like the metaverse of the Aavegotchi. And we're actually we're working on right now a new version of this called Gotchiverse 3D. And for the last about a year or so, we've actually been converting the Aavegotchis into 3D. And that's kind of part of our bigger push to make Aavegotchis more like less like just a digital pet, and more like a digital companion, like a crypto companion that you can actually, eventually you're going to be able to like talk with this guy. You might be able to ask it questions and be like, what's the newest meme coin on Solana, and like have that kind of interactions with your crypto companion.
Get out, like an LLM, wow.
Like they're primed, man. They're primed for. I'm like, if we don't do that, we're missing a big opportunity. So all that stuff is going to happen in the Gotchiverse eventually, and cool. You're going to be able to like talk with the Aavegotchi in the Gotchiverse. 2D avatars are a little bit hard to like chat with, but the 3D ones are coming along really well. We finished a lot of the work that was required to like convert them, and we're actually working on. I originally wanted to show up to this call as my gotchi, and it's almost there. It's like really close, but missed it probably by a few days.
Well, that just means we'll have to do this again too. But dude, I always pictured this show actually like I picture this show actually moves. I think this is the metaverse right now, by the way, but I actually picture this show moving into a metaverse, and it being like the show is hosted on land and people join up, or you can still watch from a browser or your phone or whatever. But
you'll be able to do that. Well, next time we do this, we'll bring you into the Gotchiverse 3D. We have like a dance hall. We have a stage. We're going to be doing all of our community hangouts that we do every Saturday in the Gotchiverse, probably starting next month.
Incredible,
because it's getting really close to being finished.
And can you like screen share while you're in there? Can I have a big screen up in the background?
I think that's something that they are working on, like being able to have a video going on in the background. Yeah. So this one here, Gotchiverse 2D. This is like a game that we put out. You can farm, you can walk around. There's not too much to do because we ended up having some like troubles with the infrastructure to make it exactly how we wanted, and we actually ended up converting it into Unity. So the new version of this game is in Unity, and that's the one that is going to be launching very soon with some of the metaverse features. So I'm really excited about that.
Does the new version retain? Okay, I always thought it was cool. You could loan out your gotchis, and I remember there were these events where it would just rain the different currencies.
Yeah.
We'll get to the DeFi stuff and the currencies. It was so much fun. Just those little events just made it feel so alive. Even if there wasn't a ton to do, I was always there for that. Does that come to the 3D version?
For sure. Yeah, we're gonna. We didn't go far enough with the 2D version because of all the technical constraints we ended up having. But like we're ready to push that really far into 3D and like make Aavegotchi the place where communities could come and bring people from even outside Aavegotchi, and they could set up like a space and drop tokens within the game and like have events like that.
Oh, that's killer. Okay. So then there's the Gotchiverse, and then again, this is the stuff I learned really over the past few weeks. Finally got my eyes on it yesterday. There's other games.
So yeah, so if you go to the games page, here's the DApp. This is our main app right now. So Spirit Force Arena is the backstory for this was as we were converting into 3D, we wanted to have like a simple experience where we could test a lot of the combat and have like basic PvP. So we spun up this arena called Spirit Force Arena, where you can basically pit your gotchis against each other, and you can actually do fully like on-chain duels with your gotchis. So you can fight each other, and there's real ghost stakes for the winner of the duel. It's not something we're super like focused on at the moment because we basically got it to a point where it was working, and then we started moving on to the real main show, which is the Gotchiverse 3D. But eventually, we will come back to this and keep working on it once the full Gotchiverse like 3D is done. But as a proof of concept, like it's quite good, quite polished, and you can download it now via Hyperplay or through the DApp here. And you can start like earning Ghost by playing people.
Man, I love that. I like those. I mean, mini games, but I just like the PvP stuff. I like it. Like, is it a battle royale to some degree?
Yeah, it's you can have up to 10 players in the battle royale. People have been asking us to do 100, and I think we definitely will eventually.
Get there.
Just gotta do the proper testing on it. But yeah, I think that'd be very degen to have like 100-person battle royale. Everyone chucks in with one ghost, and then you just fight it out to the death.
Have high stakes. You can get there. Have that many players. Yeah, you never know how big that prize pool can get. Oh, it'd be wild. And then Gotchi Heroes.
Gotchi Heroes. This is not developed by us. It's a community project by Slow Sunday Games, and it's kind of a sleeper Gotchi game. Honestly, they're doing a lot of development and pushing things like pretty good. I honestly I haven't seen a lot from them recently, but I know they have like a pretty dedicated group of Gotchi gang playing the game. Like they have their own in-game rewards, and I'm sure they'll be launching on Geist pretty like when we go live with that as well. They'll definitely be whitelisted to launch on Geist. So I've played a little bit of it, and it's pretty cool. It's like an idle game, so you don't have to actually sit there and play all the time. Like you can kind of set it and let it go, which is I think a pretty popular type of game in crypto.
Definitely. Yep, definitely. There's so many games out there now. I think people appreciate that here and there too, for sure. Geist, what is Geist?
So yeah, maybe you can. Here we go. Geist Network is our. We're actually quite early to the L3 or L2 or roll-up narrative, something we've been researching since early 2023, because we always had this vision that Aavegotchi, wherever we go, we are eventually going to outgrow the chain, or the chain is going to like get too busy and make it difficult to grow. So it's kind of a chicken and an egg problem. So back in like 2023, we started thinking about, what if we were to make our own chain? What would that look like? Is there a need for it? What kind of infra would we use? How much would it cost? All the stuff like that. So we did a bunch of research. We almost launched it late 2023, but I think it was honestly still early. I'm glad we didn't. And recently, we actually rebranded from what was originally called Gotchi chain to this new bigger vision, which we call Geist network or the Geist chain. So Geist is the way, in my mind, I kind of think of it. I was inspired by the Berghain, these like exclusive clubs in Germany, where people everyone wants to get into the club, but they have like these bouncers at the front, and they literally do a vibe check on you, and they say, without even like, they might not even talk to you, and they might just be like, no, sorry, you're not getting in. And I feel it's like a very different vibe than what you see in a lot of Web3 gaming, which is everyone is trying to pump those DAUs. Everyone's trying to get as many users and transactions as they can because they want those metrics. They want to be able to say and show big numbers on to their VCs or to crypto Twitter. And what that ultimately ends up with is like they're focusing on the wrong metrics, I think. They're focusing on how many people are, how many wallets, how many addresses are playing the game. But that's really not that relevant because a lot of those, right? Yeah, it's not a very hard thing to do to just spin up 1,000 wallets, put some gas in them, and I'm sure everyone has seen the videos. There's just like people multi-accounting and just spamming the crap out of these games.
Those videos that are out there of like there's somebody at a desk and there's like 50 phones that are all linked together. Is that real? Is that what that really looks like?
Yeah,
I've virtual literally sessions on your desktop.
I've gone to places here in China and I've seen like those kind of factories where they're doing that. The guys where I'm living here, they specialize in doing that kind of stuff. That's just like what they do. It's they call it a like a script, basically. That you're executing a script. So with Geist, we had this experience back in 2022 when we launched that Gotchiverse 2D that you were just showing, where we had firsthand experience with how an economy that's like very nascent, very new, could get extracted beyond being able to fix it by these kind of bad actors. And ultimately we kind of had to reshuffle and rethink about our strategy for going forward with any sort of play to earn or play and earn campaign, and basically say like, how do we make sure that the people that we want to receive rewards are going to get the rewards? And that's not like a simple trivial thing to do. So our solution to this,
there we go.
Right. So I'm not saying this is like the only solution, but I think it's one potential way. So what we're going to be doing with Geist is it is the first members only blockchain built for gaming. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be a member to even like do a transaction on the chain. Anyone can come on, anyone can play our games, which we have about 10 games that'll be either launching with the chain or shortly within a period. And it just means that if you want to earn rewards in those games, you're gonna have to be a member. And there's some projects that they've also implemented a membership system, like a VIP system, which I think is a good first step. But that really only it creates like a barrier or sort of like threshold for people need to do a basic calculation and say like, how much can I make by playing this game? If it's worth it, I'm still going to spin up 1,000 accounts.
Right.
It's just you're taking some of my profit away, but it's still good to do that. We're saying you won't even be able to get an account unless you have an invite. And after you get that invite, then you can choose whether you want to pay the membership fee or not. But to get that invite, you can't just go into Discord and some guy with like 1 million invites or unlimited invites can just you use their referral code. We're the ones giving out the invites. For example, Gotchi holders, everyone who has a Gotchi is going to get 1 invite per Gotchi. And they're going to so our Gotchi holders are basically going to be the initial ambassadors for this chain. They're the ones that are going to be able to decide who gets to come on the chain and ultimately become a member. we're also going to work with some partner communities and give them limited number of invites. So for example, Hudah, I might, give you guys some invites, and if you could drop them, during your show here, then those people that sign up through you, it is like a referral program. So you'll get a portion of their membership fees and things like that, which is kind of cool.
Very cool.
But the whole point is that you can't just, if we ban someone, they can't just come back tomorrow, spin up 10 more accounts and keep doing what they were doing. That's the number of invites is limited by design, and we're going to just grow the network slowly, but in a more measured and kind of more intentional way. We're a community funded project, which is powerful because our only kind of stakeholders are the community, and everyone wants to see the project succeed. We're not trying to pump the numbers to show our board of directors.
I love that. I can't wait to get to the community aspect of it, the DAO and the faithful player base who's been, following along but engaged now for years. I haven't seen anything like it anywhere else in Web3. I haven't. A couple questions. How many gotchis are there at this point? Just to try to get in my head how many possible invites there are out there.
Total, there's a maximum right now of 25,000.
Okay.
There's about, I believe there's active around 19,000, because there's quite a few that were burned. You can sacrifice your Aavegotchi. And then there's also some that are in portals still. So if you haven't summoned your gotchi, you're not going to get an invite either. So there's probably going to be around 19,000 invites that'll go out initially.
I think I got a gotchi or two out there still. I got to double check that. But I think it's a nice number. It feels exclusive still, but enough to actually build a community. And I guess, honestly, thinking back to, what was it? The fantasy platform on Blast. Man, there is just something to, as long as you have the balance right, you can build something really cool. Like a really great platform, and again, very rewarding for the people in there, or rewarding enough. You find what that balance is, but you don't need everybody in Web3 playing it to make that ecosystem really work. You get to do it, I think, the way you're doing it. It's slowly and build it the right way. And you can be damn sure that'll scale properly, too, if you put the time in to make sure it'll scale the right way. So it all sounds great.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like if there's one metric that we are going to be focusing on, it's the daily active members. It's not daily active users. It's going to be how many people are actually paying for membership and are active on a daily basis or like a monthly basis. So looking at that metric as opposed to how can we just get more members. Obviously, we'll look at how many people are playing the game versus like converting. But for us, the ultimate number is how many people are actually taking this game seriously and investing into the ecosystem. Part of the inspiration was also like RuneScape, because if you go to RuneScape, they have this membership program, which they proudly state on their website, 90% of all players are members. And I think that's a really cool statistic to be able to show to people. And it obviously, there's a strong amount of loyalty of players to the RuneScape game. So I think if we can achieve a similar level of success than in Web3, that's kind of our goal.
Going by, I think, track record, I think you're going to have a pretty impressive number. What do the fees look like? Do you have a number in mind yet?
So monthly, it's going to be 19 USD paid in Ghost or ETH or credit card. We'll make it as easy as possible to be able to pay that. There will be like an annual plan that I think it'll be a significant discount. And initially there could be like a longer plan that's like really locked in. And I want to do some like special kind of role or badge or something on chain for anyone who does like put a commitment like that on chain.
I love it. Okay. Let me ask with Geist still. I get confused when we start getting to like L3s, and Geist is an L3.
It is, yeah. It's based on our settlement layer is base, so we're a base chain.
Where then is Arbitrum in the mix? That's ultimately where I wasn't totally sure if this was a base product, if this is Arbitrum, if it's a mix of both, and then how Polygon fits in the mix still too.
So Arbitrum is like the stack. So it's technically OP stack that is created by Arbitrum. It's like their variant of the Optimism stack. So we're using the Arbitrum Orbit technology, the Arbitrum Orbit stack, to actually power the chain. Like Base is an it's an OP layer, OP-L2. So they used OP, but it doesn't matter. We're using Arbitrum Orbit, and we're just settling to Base. So that means that it settling to Base unlocks some potential very cool things down the line. Like one thing we will be working on with the Coinbase team. We want to do a quest. We're like, our token is listed on Coinbase. So one of the challenges of being a new chain, obviously, is like getting people to know about the chain, to come on and take a look at it. So we're planning to do a Coinbase quest that will allow people to basically go directly from Coinbase wallet and make a transaction on Geist, and get a little bit of Ghost to do that. They get their gas fees, and now they're in the ecosystem. They're aware of it, and they might even become a member at the end of the day. So that's a cool benefit of like being settled to Base. They're way more interested in doing a partnership like that than if we were like settling onto just Arbitrum.
Yeah, that would make sense. Tokens in the ecosystem. Ghost, do you still have, what is it, KEK, FUD, Alpha, FOMO?
We do, yeah. Those are the Gotchiverse tokens. Although this is kind of Discord only alpha, but we've been sharing a ton of alpha with the community recently in our Saturday hangouts. So if you ever have time to visit those, there's a lot of alpha. Those tokens are going to be consolidating fairly soon into a new token, because we realize that it's a little bit of complexity. Like we want to, all this is about having a new chain and using that new chain as a way to actually try and simplify things as much as we can. So those tokens will be eventually consolidated, and that's going to be a core campaign, of reward campaign that we're going to be doing on Geist chain when it launches.
Love it. Oh, yeah, dude, it's a tricky balance, I can imagine. Like, you have a technical user base. You do, like, very, very technical, like Web3 savvy players with DAO members, whatever. And but at the same time, it does have to be simple enough so it's not like just instantly overwhelming to somebody new that wants to come in and play. So it sounds like you're tackling that. If you were to, like, if you got a knob and you're turning it one way or the other, as far as that balance, does it lean more towards still a little technical? Or would you have it just right there in the middle? But what would it look like in a perfect world? And I imagine that's what's coming.
Yeah, I think there's got to be, like, Aavegotchi is a very kid-friendly brand. It always has been, and we've kind of taken efforts to make it so they continue with that. I think we've got to have aspects that are so simple that, like, a 7-year-old that is just learning about, just starting the game, maybe they know a little bit about crypto, maybe they don't. Like, kind of a little, like, a new generation of degen, kind of. This could be their first NFT. They don't even know it's an NFT. This could be their first crypto pet, their first crypto companion. And everything they learn about crypto is through this IP. That's something I think about that a lot. And I think it would be a really cool thing to be able to do that. On the other hand, then you have 40, 50-year-olds that are in our community that are, like, super tech savvy, and they don't want to just play kid games. They want to actually have some technical stuff to put their teeth into. A lot of those members are, like, in the DAO, so they don't necessarily have a lot of time to play games, but they're very active in DAO governance. So those I think are, like, the two kind of pillars that I want to start focusing more on. Like, making sure that the DAO and the existing community have plenty of technical stuff and loops that are more fine-tuned and, like, more, and go deeper on the one hand, but on the other hand, having really, really accessible stuff, very low friction. Like, you don't even need to own a wallet. You can just use, Privy or Third Web is who we're working with, and just be able to sign in with nothing. And now you're in, and now you can start, like, playing and collecting these NFTs without even knowing what an NFT is. So we need both, I believe. We don't necessarily need to cater to the middle ground. Like, I'm always about kind of extremes. So we go to the new crypto person who's just learning, fresh set of eyes on the world, but we also have plenty of hardcore functionality for the guys that like want to go deeper and are more technical.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. You know what? I never really thought of this way, but the DAO in a way is man, you can look at it like an extension of the game. It is part of the game itself,
right?
Totally. Like just the governance. Something like EVE Online, that's one of the main draws of that game, of that experience. It is that you build out an economy, and and that's very much what the DAO is, right?
Yeah, exactly. These like a lot of I've had this realization over the last couple of years. A lot of the DAO community members, there are some that are into gaming and DAO, but there's also quite a few that just like love the community, love the experience of creating games together, and so they're like in there helping us design games. They're passing funding proposals for different games. They're testing games, but at the end of the day, they're not actually going to be the ones like playing the games. The people that are going to play the games and actually bring kind of new energy into the community are, I think, probably like way younger than our current community is. They're like the Roblox Minecraft generation. That's who I believe is also going to be a great fit for all the Aavegotchi IP.
Is that younger audience already in? Do you know?
They pop up. So the first place we've seen them is like a lot of our existing community members will play gotcha games with their kids. So, and the kids usually enjoy the games. Like they like them. They vibe with them. So I think more and more as crypto continues to grow, the generation that was like back in 2020, they were probably like, 9, 10, 11, and they might have had a little bit of exposure. As time goes on, they're going to grow up and they're playing Minecraft or Roblox with their friends. But there's big opportunities, I think, to onboard them into into crypto and teach them like you don't have to waste your time just playing games and like not owning anything. What if you could come over to crypto games? You can still have a good time, but you can also own the assets, own everything that you're earning, and be able to trade it and actually make like more money than your parents maybe one day.
Yeah,
it's like that's a pretty wild thing, and I think that's the future that crypto gaming does offer.
Dude, it's such a strong narrative. It's one of those things that probably early on for all of us, like in our time getting into NFTs and crypto, it made it click. I always call it the aha moment, gaming and wearables and stuff. Was that, and it's like sometimes we've talked about it for so long. I'm years removed from that moment myself when it made sense. I sometimes I don't appreciate the same way how big of a deal that is still, and how kids really do still play these games and they still do deal with their digital wearables. And I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking about that more and more. My girls talking about like games they play in Roblox still years later, still playing them. I'm like, my goodness, it really is going to happen, isn't it? They know this stuff. They know it. They're experts at it. So
I believe it's like there's this whole wave that's happening right now, whether it's not just crypto, but it's like the financialization of everything. Everything is becoming financialized, and it has its like upsides and downsides. People in Dave and Buster's are doing betting while they're like, you can go out for a meal and you can do some sports betting in Dave and Buster's, which is wild to me to think about that. I'm not in the States, but I know that is happening.
Yeah.
There's all these sports betting ads all the time on TV. So like that to me would have been incomprehensible 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. But just the way things are going, gaming is going to be more and more financialized. And I think crypto gaming is poised to like be the spot where that's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen in Web2 gaming too. They're going to try and financialize it, but it's literally in our DNA as an industry. So hoping that we can actually be the ones that benefit most from that.
Man, absolutely. By the way, what was your aha moment for crypto, and how long have you been in? Not NFTs, but also crypto.
For crypto, my aha moment, I remember. So my co-founder Jesse got me into crypto. He wrote his thesis on Bitcoin and regulation or something like back in 2015.
Wow.
We met in China, and I remember I was trading stocks. It was on Robinhood. I was trading stocks on Robinhood in like 2016, and he was like telling me about Ethereum and telling me about all these different coins that I'd never heard of, and the gains that he was like getting from them. I was trying to scrape by getting 5% on a gold stock. He was like, "Oh yeah, I just got my this random token Sia coin just went up like 100%." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So started looking into it, and just within a couple days, I had also made pretty good gains on those tokens, and
Yep.
I was hooked. I was ready to go.
Sia was decentralized
early.
storage, right?
Yeah, Sia coin. Yeah, they were doing like decentralized storage. Them and like storage. So from then, I mean, just being early, everything went up from there. I sent my parents an email when Ethereum was $8, telling them to buy it. And no one replied to me.
Darn.
No one in the family there was like, "What? I don't know what he's talking about." But yeah, from then I saw the vision pretty early what Ethereum like was going to be, and bought in heavily to it.
Dude, once you see it, there's no going back, right? It changes you. It's kind of why I when Donald Trump came in, and I'm like, I don't think it's probably a grift, but I also don't think it's just a grift. I think he had that moment too, and it's like you see it in people when it clicks, and you're different from then on. Like the world is different at that point. So I always ask people now what their moment was. So
that's
really
a great
cool,
question. Yeah.
really cool hearing yours. Okay, the DAO. I want to talk about the DAO. This story here, I don't know if this is related to the DAO, although I think it is. Raising $30 million for Aavegotchi without any VCs. DAO related?
Oh yeah. This is like I gave this talk at DAO Tokyo just a few weeks ago. Yeah. So the TLDR on like how Ghost was created. Ghost is our core governance token, and it's also like used as a medium of exchange in the ecosystem. If you want to buy anything, it's all priced in Ghost. It was created. I lived through the ICO mania, and just saw how a lot of those teams basically took money and just like sat on it, and are still doing that to this day. Some of the biggest ICOs from 2016, 2017 I still see them, and they're like not doing anything with it. So I wanted to have a better way, and it just did a great talk. If you guys are interested, I don't want to go through the whole thing here, but TLDR is that we launched Ghost on a bonding curve. Bonding curves are very popular now with like pump fund and things like that, but they were pretty new back then. And so essentially you would just deposit DAI, and it would spit out Ghost at a steadily rising price over time. And if you put your Ghost back in, it would burn the Ghost and it would spit DAI back out. So basically how we raised 30 million was every time someone would put that DAI in, it would just kind of sit there in the smart contract. And it would use that to know how much the next dollar worth of Ghost should be. So that was like the reserve or the treasury. And that was all in DAI token. And when Rune and the MakerDAO team started talking about this, like their end game plan, Jesse and I had been talking about potentially de-risking our ecosystem of DAI for quite a while. And when he started talking about end game, we just kind of got like weird vibes from it, and we said we don't think it's ideal for our whole ecosystem to be like hinged on this token that we have no control over. So the way that this bonding curve sale could end was if the DAO voted to end the sale. Basically, that 30 million in DAI would be sent over to the DAO, and the bonding curve would be turned off. So can't make this up. Literally, the day that the DAO voted to turn the bonding curve off, that was the day that Silicon Valley Bank had its like bank run over that weekend. I think it was a Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. And so literally that was the day that DAI depegged almost, I think it was 15%. And we were just like blown away that all this prophesying that we had done, like, oh my God, DAI, it might depeg. What happens if things go wrong? Happened on the exact day that we were turning the bonding curve off. So we felt very vindicated. But at the same time, we were like, oh my God, we have 30 million in DAI here. What happens if DAI goes to zero? We're kind of screwed. But luckily, we held the line. We hoped that things would go back to normal, which they did, and so we didn't like market sell all of that DAI for something else. We held on to it, and it did eventually repeg. But it was a very cool story to go from like initial having that concept of a DAO owned ICO where the DAO owns the fund and gives them to us as a project to deliver things, to that final point of actually finishing the sale and having like a cool conclusion like that. So yeah, if anyone wants to see the whole talk, highly recommend it. And I do wish that more teams would do it that way, like would do more of like a community governed ICO rather than just teams raising a bunch of money and going on vacation basically. But things have changed a lot since like 2020 when we did this. And I think there are teams that are kind of doing stuff like that.
Is part of the reason that it is so hard to govern. And honestly, I mean, at least my perspective is I don't know that most DAOs have worked. Yours, yeah. The Gotchi DAO stands out as something that is so different from anything else out there. Like when I look at the ApeCoin DAO, like rooting for them, hope they do well, but all I see is what doesn't work there in controversy. And their secretary just left a week or two ago and on his way out is pointing out all the points of failure, all the things that don't work with it. I've never seen that with the Aavegotchi DAO ever. Why is that DAO so different? Is it designed differently? Is it the people in the DAO are different? They're engaged. What's different?
Yeah, I think we had a DAO from day one, so that kind of helps. We didn't like. I feel like with Hudah, they ApeCoin, they kind of spun up the DAO post. We came with the DAO first, where they kind of created the DAO after ApeCoin was live already, and it was ApeCoin was also airdropped to people. So there's like it's a very different mentality, I guess, than growing up with the token, going through we had all these missions and all this like interesting stuff to help onboard people and help them learn about the vision before they were even able to buy the token. And a lot of those OG holders are literally still with us today. There's some of them are in positions of leadership within the DAO. We have a DAO treasurer. We have a DAO foundation with like 9 multi-sig signers on them. And a lot of those guys are like either day one or very early holders who understand the vision. So that definitely helps a lot.
And so part of it's not necessarily the way the DAO is structured. I'm sure that's a part of it, but it just I think maybe the DAO, they're just that much more engaged. The members are. Is that maybe the core thing, the core difference between
I think
your DAO and the rest?
A lot of our community just comes from a place of like curiosity and this a little bit of idealism, like we are trying to create something unique in the space. It's not like the DAO is not just kind of acting as a fiduciary shield in a way, which is what is true of a lot of projects.
Right.
Like we're actually trying to do something cool and build like a new way to run this sort of project. So there's a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of just curiosity about things. We're not coming from a place of greed, which I think is what you see in like a lot of DAOs.
Dude, very, very much. Maybe if it's like a specific difference, it feels like that. Again, from the outside looking in, it feels like that. How many members in the DAO? And then curious to, I'm assuming you're in the DAO. Was that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We summon the DAO, so we're kind of the summoners. There's 4 of us. How many members though? I would say like daily active. If you look at our snapshot, sometimes you see roughly like 1,000 addresses voting. Yeah, last one of them is, it's gone down a little bit from like the peak where you probably have a couple thousand, but still, just a normal vote will get like at least 500 unique addresses voting in it, and it's not like a lot of DAOs where we don't do delegation. So that's, I think, a big difference between our DAO and many others. No one, like, we have not ever enabled delegation, nor have we tried to push for that feature. So people who are voting, you don't see like one block of voting power that has like 30% of the vote, and it's just one guy voting on behalf. It's literally everyone is voting for what they think, and it's maintaining that activity. So that could be another big difference. We've never really pushed the delegation side of DAOs because we want people to be engaged. We give them XP to their gotchis for voting in the DAO.
Man, built different. I mean, again,
yeah.
It's the people. It's the people
yep.
that are in the DAO is the difference there. It's really impressive, dude. There's no set time for the show, by the way. We're over an hour. This can go 2 hours, whatever. If you have to go, tell me whenever. Otherwise, I got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah, I'm good for maybe another couple more minutes here.
Cool. I think they're fun questions, so yeah, we'll just ride that out. Dude, the state of NFTs and the state of gaming. How do you feel about where we're at now? Are we further just as a ecosystem than you thought we'd be? Are we not as far? What's working? What's not working?
So I think the bar, if you look at one area for like fundraising in crypto gaming, the bar has definitely gotten a lot higher, which I think is a good sign. Like, you can't just show up. And I say this as a guy who we raised our ecosystem on a white paper, but it's a little bit tongue in cheek here. But things have gotten more mature, I think, and it is harder to like, if you want to raise in this space, you can't just show up with a white paper, I think, anymore. Although there are exceptions, so I think the space is maturing. And that just means that standards are higher, and standards being higher means that, but like, people that are delivering are going to get rewarded more, which is good. The crazy Wild West days, I think, are still here, but not as crazy as they may have been about a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So. And the game quality, is the standard for a quality game, is also in some ways getting higher. Like, I see a lot of the games on including our own and on Crypto Gaming X, the games look great, and they look fun, and people are coming up with like new unique ways to incorporate crypto. On the other hand, then you have like the hyper casual gaming side, which is basically tap to earn. So you do have these extremes of really good quality games, like building their hearts out and raising money and trying to make a path in crypto. And then you have like the Telegram game mania. So I'd still say there's a lot of room left for people to explore, and we are just getting started. Like, it is a cliche, but we still are early.
We are, dude. I say it all the time. Like, we're
the
years
financialization of everything. We're just like, it's just beginning. Everything's going to be hyper financialized, man. So
yeah, I think at this point we are past the point of no return, but very, very early still, man. I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, like in the chasm, like there's this idea of like the inventors, this chasm. We've definitely gone from crypto is just this like thing that only 5% of the population is gonna care about, or is like, it's too weird. We've passed that. We've gone over the chasm. We've bridged it. We are heading now towards like early mainstream adoption. But that still means that there's a more than half, like 60-70% of the population, maybe even more, that has no idea what's going on. And some of them are even, they're laggards. They don't want to accept it. So there's still a lot of the human population out there that's like not in tune with what we're doing.
Dude, it's wild. So the people who probably would benefit the most from it and who probably are gamers who are trained at this stuff already, even though they don't realize it, are the most, they're dragging their feet more than anybody, which is a bummer. Those guys right now could be, I don't know. I hate to always focus on the financial side, but it is what it is. There's life-changing stuff happening here. They probably would be right at the edge of that and doing well, and they just don't see it or don't want to see it. And
I think it's like it's the same thing that happened with mobile gaming. Mobile gaming was like something that everyone turned their nose up at. Still kind of is for some people. Like they're like, I don't play mobile games. But like the world plays mobile games now. So it's going to be the same thing, I think.
Man, exactly right. Okay, last question, I promise. Everybody's got a different, I guess, what is it? They categorize their games in different ways, not play to earn. Cyberkong's called there's play to collect. Some are play to airdrop. What's Aavegotchi?
So I personally like the play to own, that kind of tagline. At the end of the day, I mean, you're play to earn still has the best brand awareness of all that. Like if you go on YouTube, no one's searching for play and earn or play to own or play and collect. So it depends on like what type of player you're trying to attract, and also like if you're trying to be SEO friendly, basically.
Right.
So I think play to earn is still the king in terms of getting people like what people understand it as a narrative. But personally, we don't use it a lot. I kind of prefer just play a game and earn rewards, basically, like play and earn. But I totally understand that that's not going to change anytime soon. Like play to earn is kind of cemented in the consciousness of a lot of people, and it's going to be very hard to dislodge that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, I'm so impressed with what you're doing, what your entire team is doing, what the DAO's doing. It's a really, really impressive ecosystem. Man. So GG's over there. I will definitely, dude, when it's ready in time, I will do the first chain reactor in the metaverse over in
Let's do it.
The Gotchiverse, dude. Jeez, I can't wait.
You got a Gotchi. So we are planning to have a launch party for whenever Geist launches, which we're aiming for. Its tentative date is end of this month, because it is October. Does make sense. It's a ghost themed chain, so we're aiming to do it. If everything aligns well, then that we could have a Halloween launch.
Oh, crazy!
We love Halloween. It's our favorite holiday.
Dude, so fitting. No, that's perfect. All right, well, if it's there, I'll be there. Can't wait. Dude, Coder Dan, thank you so much for coming. Like, what a treat. We've chatted here behind the scenes for years, but here's the first time in person, face-to-face mostly, getting to chat. Awesome. What a treat. Guys, make sure to follow Coder Dan at Coder Dan over on X. Obviously, follow Aavegotchi so you can stay up to date with what they're doing. We'll certainly be covering it here, too. And then follow us here at CryptoSlam.io. This show is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time right here. It's on SlamX Official on YouTube. Guys, have a great day. I'll see you this afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the afternoon show with Henry the Grape, with Joe. Dan, hang on for a quick sec.
Awesome.
Guys,
Yep.
we're out of here.